Hi, greetings. This is Sieg, and I want to help answer a question that came in just recently. This was with one of my daily marketing coach students, and it's a really important question, maybe a little more of a self-identity. I don't want to say issue, more so just something that she's grappling with, and it's that she has always been an employee. She's now just entering this space of becoming an entrepreneur. And it's kind of like this whole brave new world to her and trying to get a handle on this. How do I structure my day? How do I know what to do? And feeling a little bit lost in the process. So these feelings that she's experiencing are not unusual, first and foremost. So if that happens to be you, where you are just now becoming an entrepreneur, you've always been an employee, but here you are now having to be your own boss, and you're like, I don't even know how to structure my own day. You're not alone. So I'm going to be addressing that and hopefully provide some really good answers and suggestions for you to help kind of make this transition, help wrap your head around this process moving forward. First and foremost, I have to admit, this is what comes to mind for me. I remember reading through Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or at least one of his books, that being Robert Kiyosaki. And he said, the rich think differently. They view the world differently. And the way he said that just kind of smacked me between the forehead. They think differently. They process data and information differently than someone who does not have the entrepreneurial bent. Now, the essence of business means we sell goods and products and services out in the marketplace. So that means the exchange of currency has to take place, right? People are saying, I want what you have enough that I'm going to give you my hard-earned money. So what entrepreneurs do is they see, and the illustration he gave in his book was he came from the real estate world. So he said when he would drive down a street, the way he would view everything going on as he drove down that street, looking at the houses, was vastly different than someone who is not into the real estate industry. He would take note and observe, and okay, that house is for sale, and this and that, and just be absorbing a whole lot of different information and facts, or more so observations, than someone who's not in the real estate space. So the way they absorb the information and process it, it gets filed away differently, and their perspective is on what can I do with this and how do I create value to bring to the marketplace so that I can sell something and make a living off of my transactions. So I think that's really where it all starts, is the recognition that the way an employee would think is going to be different than the way an entrepreneur would think. So with that basic premise in mind, here's what I would suggest. It's also known by brain scientists that the number one factor in shaping someone's future, is who they hang around with. Bad company, good company, it's just who you hang around with, who you associate with. That is going to rub off on you, and it will by default shape your future. So let's take that down to you now as an entrepreneur. What should that tell you? You need to be hanging around entrepreneurs. You've got to be talking to business owners. You've got to enter into that space. That should be the first antennae that goes up. So that could mean the focus of where you spend your time and attention needs to shift. Where it ought to start at the very basic level is through books. When you read books by business owners and entrepreneurs, what they write, it's going to have a different perspective than someone who's writing on a different topic unrelated to business. So that's where my journey started, was right there in the books. And I happen to love books. And that's rubbing shoulders with people. I mean, me reading Robert Kiyosaki's book had a big impact on my life. Likewise, for people reading my books, big impact on their lives. So it would be that. So the books, and then also just in your dialogue, in your conversations. This is why community is so important. You've got to be communicating with people who are going through the same process as you, and hopefully a few steps ahead, those who are more experienced. So for this gal, she's a member of Daily Marketing Coach. That's going to help her enormously. We've got some very significant leadership that's developed within our community. She should be paying attention. For example, we have this, it's called EOD, End of Day Report, that we have in our community. And that is at the end of the day. This is on our private Facebook group page. People will come in and report their end of day. What did they do? What are they reporting in on? It's an accountability type of activity. It's made a huge, huge difference in the productivity of our members. But all to say this, well, then you can kind of gauge and know, oh, this is one of Ann's certified trainers, and look what she just posted. You know, you watch who's a few levels ahead and look at what their end of day report is indicating. That kind of lets you know where they're at. So you have someone to emulate and follow, because that's really the absolute best way to learn, is by emulation. And in a perfect world, as we know, when our brains are younger, we absorb the information a lot faster. It just is what it is. So the perfect world is you grow up with that. You grow up with parents who are entrepreneurial, and they bring you under their wing, and teach you the business, okay? That would be the best of all worlds, right? While you're young, you grow up in that business-minded environment, okay? But this gal didn't have that benefit, I don't believe. So it would be that association. The last point that I'm going to make is this. I always look at what is the end goal? What is the end objective that I want to accomplish? Now, I don't know if she has done that, but that's what business owners do or should be doing, involving also your metrics, your numbers, so that you can do some good tracking and data analysis. But you should be always doing projections, because business is a forward-moving activity. It's not a stationary, I show up at my desk and I'm waiting for the boss to tell me what to do. I'm waiting. Oh, okay, boss doesn't tell me what to do. I guess I don't have anything to do. Okay, now that'd be a whole nother discussion there. But business owners by design have to be proactive. You don't wait for someone to come in and tell you what to do. You have to be proactive. So how that shapes out is you've got to have somewhat of a vision. Business leaders, accomplished business leaders, are visionaries. They say, I want to be here in 5 years. This is what I want it to look like. And then they do something known as reverse engineering. They work it backwards from the big goals, and then you've got to scale it down, all the way into daily tasks so that you can execute those to reach your end objective. So that would be my final recommendation for this gal to help her move into this entrepreneurial mindset is spend a few hours doing this type of activity. That is part and parcel of being a business owner. You check every once in a while, you check in. You maybe spend one Saturday a month where you're checking in, or every quarter or something like that. And how am I doing? You have to measure yourself against certain goals and objectives that you have in mind. Because when you show up at work, you can be sure, more often than not, your boss does have some very specific objectives and goals in mind, and you're there to help them reach those goals and objectives. Now, a good boss will share that with you. Well, you're the boss now. You're the CEO, and you have to figure out, what's it going to be like? What do I want to accomplish with my business? And a lot of times for new entrepreneurs, that's a big, foggy, fuzzy kind of thing. Well, as with anything, when you do that with repetition, you're going to get better and better at doing that. And like I say, work it backwards so you know exactly what needs to be done on a daily basis. Now, in closing, what we do here at Daily Marketing Coach, in terms of helping people reach those goals and objectives, we help people set up a sales funnel. That's what we do. Okay, we're going to help you set up a sales funnel. Well, I can assure you there are a lot of tasks that fall under that objective of setting up a sales funnel. Some bigger, like you're going to set up your blog, and some more small. You got to go get your domain name as an example. But that's where we come in to help an entrepreneur reach their objective. Because a business, in order to be profitable, it's got to be bringing in the sales. So that's where we come in and assist with people. But we also come in with business education, just like this video has done for you. So let me recap again. For newly evolving entrepreneurs, recognize that business owners and entrepreneurs think differently. So you are going to have to learn to start to think differently. Secondly, is who you hang around with. Begin to rub shoulders and associate with as many entrepreneurs and business owners as possible. Know your objectives and goals. Do that exercise and work it backwards. So with that, I hope this has been helpful for you, and I would love to hear some feedback on this and maybe share with some things that have helped you. Let's say you have had a measure of business success, and share with us, share with me what has helped you make that transition from employee to successful entrepreneur. All right, we'll be talking soon. Bye-bye.